people. We are back, your favorite. And every Tuesday, he should be your favorite. Because we are your favorite sports podcast, roaming the airways, rolling with Ramos. Never lying when I say that. Episode 114. 114. How many times can you say that? 114. Okay, but we're not going to do that. Episode 114. I'm the one that holds the last name Ramos. I would like to specifically thank my daddy for that one, Mike Ramos in heaven. I love you. I miss you so much every day. I hope you see that. I hope you know that. Episode 114. Without my partner in crime, he is the expert. He does all the work behind the scenes. I am nothing. I always say it is we and not I. Tristan, the star. Another week, baby. What's going on?
And listen, so I know you and I, we were talking yesterday, and I was like, man, this is probably going to be like a real simple show, not too much to, go on, and then boom, lo and behold. So I'm excited. I'm excited for our guests being on here, and I'm excited to talk about what we're about to talk about.
Oh, man, this person that you see, this wonderful, first of all, a lot of people have been coming to me saying, Mikkel, you're not doing nothing for International Women's Month. You're not doing it. We celebrate women every month, all year round, baby.
All year round.
Like I said last week, your vice president's black. Her Lambo's pink. She's an AKA. She went to an HBCU. How can you not do it 365 days of the year? But not just starting with her and someone else we're going to talk about on the show today. It's every day. Women in this country, specifically Black women in this country, make an impact that you don't see and you do see. And it doesn't just take a month to celebrate us as queens. We have to do it. I mean, even our extending our hand to other races and the women that do so many things and put up with so much stuff in other parts of the world that we don't know, that we should be lucky that we are Americans, because if we would have to do the same, covering your face and they don't want to see you, things of that nature. Us as women put up with so much, have these babies, put production out in the world, and still find a way to look good, be productive at work, be good for our men. It's so much that we do. And it doesn't just take a month to celebrate that. So the same philosophy you guys have on Black History Month, and Black History is every year, is all year round, and it's not just a month. Have that same philosophy for Women's Month. But if you're going to ask me, what am I doing? Every guest on this show this month, and we're not finished yet. We started with Kelsey Nelson. Our guest here tonight, every guest this month has been a woman. So Tristan, you have been outnumbered all month. I'm not sure you care.
It's fine. I never mind. I never mind. Gladly be surrounded.
You normally catch her, I've caught her roaming the sidelines with the Washington football team, another DMV product of what great journalism is coming out from this area. She's going to tell you more about herself when she comes on here. I happen to be her Twitter friend. Now I'm her real friend. And the beautiful, the wonderful Carita Parks. You are rolling with Ramos. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here. Looking really forward to this show. So, like I said, thanks for having me.
Tell them where they can find you. I know we all like free publicity. Tell them where they can find you, Absolutely. What you're doing, and the beautiful things.
Yes, so I am the founder of Double Take Sports, my own sports media company. So you can follow me on all social media platforms at DBL Take Sports. You can also follow me personally at Carita C. Parks on all platforms. And with my personal account, you also see all of the sports that I'm covering, the articles that I write, podcast appearances like here I am today, all of that, you get that on my personal account. So be sure to follow me either place.
I have to remind myself that my personal account isn't just about what I do, because we got a whole Rolling with Ramos account. And then next thing you know, I look down my timeline. I ain't posted a picture in a long time about me showing out here.
It's so true. I mean, my personal account doubles as a professional account. Like, I have to do the same thing. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a person too. So let me show y'all. I do people things. Right. I don't just do sports. While I love it, It's not
Yeah.
just my life. So sometimes I got to drop something here and there, but I'm like you, I have to remember to do that.
What life do you have? It has nothing to do with sports, even though you love it. But congratulations on all your work.
Thank you.
Episode 114. Now, last week we paid homage to Dan Marino.
Right.
This week, this might cause a little controversy, but don't matter whether or not you like this person or what they did. There's no way that you can shy away from the fact that they are one of the legends in what they had done in Major League Baseball. Due to accusations that he gambled on baseball while playing for and managing the Cincinnati Reds, he will probably never be inducted in the Baseball Hall of Fame. But had the circumstances been different, there's no denying his career achievements and what he had accomplished. Over a career spanning most of 3 decades, he won 3 World Series championships, 3 NL batting titles, 2 Gold Glove awards, and was selected as an All-Star 17 times. And that's just to name a few of his countless accomplishments. Hey, listen, I ain't meant to cause no controversy, but he's one of the biggest names in Major League Baseball, bad or good. Bad and good. Episode 114, the Pete Rose edition.
Pete Rose.
And
Yeah,
we
that's
start. What you say?
That's controversial, but you can't deny what the man did with a bat in his hand. You really can't deny that.
Talent passes controversies usually.
Yeah, true.
I was looking at 14, and we already did Bob Cousy because we had to turn it around. I was looking, and then I looked at something else, and I said, "Ooh, let me put this one." You can't. There's just certain things, and I think Pete Rose is a prime example of dissecting the player from the person. At the end of the day, no matter what he did personally that was so wrong, you can't deny them 2 Gold Gloves. There's no PEDs involved in it. That's just pure, I know how to play the game. And you can't deny it. We start with the NBA, ladies and gentlemen. All-Star recap. Instead of holding its typical All-Star events over multiple days, the league crammed everything into one evening. The best players from around the NBA gathered at State Farm Arena in Atlanta, with the skills competition and All-Star game all taking place over the course of a few hours. Team LeBron coasted to 170-150 victory over Team Durant. Giannis Antetokounmpo took home the All-Star MVP trophy after scoring 35 points on a perfect 16 of 16 shooting. The All-Star festivities started with the skills challenge, which became the Domantas Sabonis show. The Pacers big man defeated Julius Randle, Luka Doncic, and I love his name, Nikola Vucevic in that event to capture the title. Stephen Curry, welcome back, Stephen Curry. We missed you. Stephen Curry unsurprisingly emerged as the 3-point contest champion, though Mike Conley did give him a challenge. Anthony Simmons, he did just enough to win the slam dunk contest, which took place at halftime during the All-Star break. We should have been started doing this because it ain't been the same since Zach LaVine, and it ain't been the same since and Gordon has not been the same since Aaron Gordon. I don't know when it ever would get back to that. And y'all done hurt Aaron Gordon, most specifically Dwayne Wade. He will never make an All-Star.
He got robbed.
Yes, he did. He will never make a dunk contest appearance again. And some people say, oh, he's taking it too seriously. The greats take it seriously. I don't know what great did not take the All-Star break seriously, because I want to show you I am better than you when we taking a break and when we not taking a break. But anyways, Carita, we start with you because you are the guest on this show. And if I put this nice little screen below me, you are a guest in my home, literally, too. So anyways, All-Star break. Did you like the new format? How did you feel about it in general? The HBCU references? Wham, bam, boom. All-Star break 2021. How did you feel about it?
You know, so it's interesting. I was thinking to myself, seeing it all in one night, the NBA probably isn't going to like this, but I'm like, do we really need a whole weekend for All-Star? I felt like it was pretty efficient. They got everything done, the skills challenge, the 3-point contest, the dunk contest, I didn't feel cheated, honestly. I felt like, hey, that works for me. They probably want it over the whole weekend because financially they make more money that way. But I was just like, do we really need a whole weekend for this? Looks like it could all work in one day. HBCUs, I absolutely loved that they brought attention to HBCUs. You know, Chris Paul, he's been doing that for a long time, just as an individual with his sneaker tour and just the ways that he brings attention to HBCUs. But I loved it, from the bands opening the game, also just them talking to some of the executives and just different HBCU graduates. I really felt like it was in depth, very thorough coverage of HBCUs. It wasn't just focused on one aspect. Like I said, I think it was very well rounded. So I absolutely loved that. The game itself was cool. I'm always kind of like lukewarm on the All-Star game. I'm like, it's cool. But you know, Giannis, he was MVP. He played out of his mind. And let's not forget about Wizards' own Bradley Beal, who was a starter and who led Team Durant, 26 points. So let's not forget about Bradley Beal. But overall, I thought it was a good weekend, good day, I should say, not good weekend. But, you know, I think for them playing an All-Star in the pandemic, they pulled it off.
I would like to say, I know there's a lot of stars, and Tristan, you and I have this conversation all the time. Every star and everybody that's basketball court gold can't always go in that front office and be gold there as well. And we've seen that. And there's a lot of times we've talked about Michael Jordan. LaMelo is making him look a hella good right now. Oh, yeah. And so we've talked about that a lot. And whatever the second part of Chris Paul's career is outside of playing, I hope it's going to be amazing. I hope if he does not coach, I hope he goes in the front office somewhere. I hope he's next to, I hope we talking about historical perspectives in the first player to take over the league if Adam Silver steps down. Chris Paul's career, front office wise, will be excellent. All-Star break, Tristan, how you felt about it?
So real quick on the Chris Paul thing, I've said this for years. I truly believe when it's all said and done, Chris Paul will end up being the commissioner of the league at some point. I truly believe that, just the way he has handled himself as the president of the Players Association over the years. It's amazing. I truly believe he'll end up becoming a commissioner. With that being said, as far as the All-Star weekend or All-Star day, I was cool. I was cool with it. Like Carita said, I was cool with it. I liked the fact that everything was conducted in one day. I did not feel cheated at all. It was great. HBCU representation. We're all big about HBCU representation. So I love that. That was awesome. Doing the Black National Anthem, I thought that was fantastic. You got Auntie Gladys Knight, coming out there doing her thing with that organ. I was cool. I was cool with it. It was real black and strong throughout the entire night. So
that's the way, black and strong. It sure
black
was.
and strong. Black and strong.
It was
I
black coffee.
That's right. So I liked it.
And it woke you up.
It did. I definitely enjoyed it. The only thing I would say, just from purely playing aspect, just from the athletes, the thing about the slam dunk contest.
Let it go.
Oh yeah.
The only thing I'll say about it is that the dunkers that people want to see did not perform the dunk contest. Like, I wanted to see Ja Morant. I wanted to see Zion. I wanted to see Anthony Edwards. I wanted to see these guys that were known for it. I was glad Obi Toppin was in there, but one of the commentators said, I can't remember if it was D-Wade or something, but one of them, they said it just always looks better when the guy's smaller. When you're a big guy, it's like we almost kind of expect you're going to get there, and you can't do but so much because you're so tall. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like one of the smaller guys, like the guards and stuff, that can dunk. It's amazing watching them get up in the air and contort their body and do different things. I feel like I always get his name, and Fury Simmons, always get his name wrong. I feel like he
or was it Simons?
I think Simons. Yeah, Simons. I think. I think he did what he was supposed to do. I think. You know, some people say that the other kid was cheated, but the boy attempted to kiss the rim. I think just on doing that alone, just to try to make that attempt, I think that was impressive. The fact that he had the basketball put on the backboard, got up enough to grab it and then bring it back, and like he was the most creative. Let's say that he was the most creative, so you had to give it to him on the fact of you know, creativity. But I'll always say that Aaron Gordon was robbed, and it's unfortunate we'll never see him in one again. He was robbed. The man sat in the air and put the ball underneath his legs and dunked it over a mascot. I just don't know what more you want him to do. I don't know. And you know what? Honestly, I'm gonna say this, Mikkel, and you're gonna be flatlined on it. I'm gonna say this: the greatest number 3 in NBA history is Allen Iverson. Why?
Well,
Because
Let me get some background information for this before I
go ahead.
Okay.
Because go ahead, Mikkel. Go ahead. Get the background.
Carita, and to our listeners, our viewers, every time I get a chance, I've asked Tristan who wore the better 3. And he always says he pleads the 5th. We always have this conversation between Allen Iverson and Dwayne Wade. I can never get this man to answer this question. And he brought it to me on a silver platter tonight. I am flatlined. I cannot believe it. Why is this?
But the reason why, here's the reason. The reason is petty. Because the reason why I say it is because D Wade gave Aaron Gordon a 9. You automatically get deducted when you do that.
I mean, I like Dwayne Wade, but he was hating on giving Aaron Gordon a 9. I mean, you literally robbed the man of no one else should have won that contest. Like, nobody down. And like you said, it'll never be the same. And people don't really want to participate like that.
Exactly. I've been saying this for a few years, like through Twitter. Like once in a while, I'll put it out there on Twitter, but I'm gonna say it now because if it ever really happens, it's like it was said here first. They need to have those professional dunkers that we see on YouTube and all this stuff in these slam dunk competitions. That's what's going to get people excited about watching the slam dunk competition. You get these guys that all they do is dunk, nothing else. Don't ask the NBA players. Let the NBA players sit there and have the reactions. But you get these guys, these YouTubers that be doing all these crazy tricks and all that, get them in there, get them involved, give them a cash prize. Say you give them a check that's going to go to their charity that they want to go to or something. But let them be involved because their creativity, when you watch some of these dunks on YouTube, you're like, man, that's wild that you even thought to do that. I think that would bring back the excitement in the slam dunk contest for sure.
I don't want to belabor the point, but it just, when you say that, I'm just like, the slam dunk contest is ruined. Like, it's about seeing the NBA players like doing their thing, and it just hasn't really been the same. It hadn't been the same in a long time since like those days of like your Vince Carters. Right. But then I would say Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine brought it back, and they brought back the excitement to it. So okay, cool. And then again, you had Aaron Gordon dunk out of his mind last year and not even win. And I think I saw on Twitter, John Morant said, I can't remember, someone said something about the slam dunk contest. And I think it was alluding to like what happened last year. And I think he said, that's why I don't even like want to participate.
He doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do it. And it's crazy because that's what's happening. The better dunkers in the NBA, the ones that we know that are household names, they don't want to do it.
Because they don't feel it'll be judged. It won't be judged adequately. Because we all know why Wade gave that 9.
Because D Wade, because of Dwayne Wade, and that's why
he wanted to vote for somebody who was in Miami.
Right.
I personally, it wasn't even the dunk over the 7-footer. It was the windmill one he did for me. And then he came from behind it, and that one that was on that went viral. I'm like, how he did, really? And I just, and plus the not just the excitement, Carita, you talk about that, the want to be a part of the participation. Dominique Wilkins, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant,
Right.
The best wanted to be a part of this. And these NBA players have kind of sort of gotten like, it is below me to, to be in the dunk
Like they don't want to
contest.
get injured. There's like that too. Like, I don't want to injure myself. And especially like, why put myself at risk to get injured if I might not even be judged fairly?
Correctly.
Yeah. I actually like the procession of the All-Star weekend. I mean, I think for everything else, I think the NBA on TNT is awesome. I think the NBA, I love, as much as I love ESPN, y'all gotta step y'all game up, because Kenny and them, not only are they entertaining, they're funny, they get to the sports. I get a Netflix show watching.
Yes.
They did a happy birthday to Shaq, and they put all his best moments on TNT when he ate the hot crispy thing, and he said, I'm not making a face, and then Kenny pushing them into the Christmas tree. These are moments, but I love the player spotlight with Shaq and Kobe back in the day. I always talk about that. And so the procession of All-Star break, and then COVID took away the camaraderie, because you actually get a chance to see the humanistic side of these athletes, and they bring their families, and it's a family event. We get the stars come out, and we got Quavo and them in the background, and all this good stuff. But I do think that for this year, and what COVID did as far as bringing down what happened last year and not being able to do it correctly, and last year's the All-Star break that we did get a chance to experience, it wasn't free and effervescent as this one, because we had this cloud of, damn, Kobe Bryant just passed away behind it, and everybody wanting to honor him, and the game wanting to honor him. So as much as we love him and miss him, this was the first one that we seen the league moving on, and it looking like it's fun again. You seen Steph Curry coming back. So I think for that aspect, and the aspect of, we didn't even know we were going to have an All-Star break at all in this season, or let alone the season even reach this far because of COVID. Remember, we spoke to Mark Spears, Tristan, and he was alluding to the fact that he didn't know if COVID could last in this year, doing it in the regular way. And kudos to the NBA, Adam Silver, and Atlanta. And for it to be in Atlanta, because the NFL dropped the ball years ago of the Super Bowl being in Atlanta and what that could have meant, and MLK weekend, it was a good job. It was well done. The Morgan State University is all I'm gonna
say. Can someone please explain to me how Giannis won the MVP over Steph or Dame?
I think it was just because he had the most points. I mean, that's really what.
All he did was dunk.
And I think they said he made
16 to 16.
The record for the most shots made.
16 to 16.
All 16. So that's probably, but that's really
all he did was dunk.
Yeah, that's not really. I mean, Dame, in my opinion, should have got MVP with that like logo 3.
I'd have been cool with either Dame or Steph getting the MVP. I was really shocked.
Yeah.
Well,
yes.
We gave our season last week, and give you a chance to do this, Carita. We gave our mid-season assessment so far, and we talked about the Bucks, and we talked about Giannis, and I've heard a couple of rumblings, Tristan and Carita, that this All-Star break made y'all see who's the real king of the East. He back.
I don't know if I feel that way. I mean, like, for real, an All-Star game, they're not playing real hard defense or anything like that. It's fun. So I don't know.
Real quickly, Carita, when we go in the second half of the season, West and East, who you think is going to make a run? Who you think is going to get stale? Where does MVP candidate caliber fly for you?
Okay, who do I think is going to make a push? In the East, the Heat, like, they went on a little bit of a run before the All-Star break. I think they were 7-2. So I think we'll probably see them continue to peak. Obviously, you have the Nets who've added Blake Griffin, so I'm sure we're going to see a little bit of a run from them. I'm saying like a lot of people, because I really feel like, honestly, I don't feel like anyone, I mean, besides like the Nets or But I don't really feel like anyone just like is dominating like that necessarily. Maybe because it's just like a weird season. So I feel like there's a lot of teams in the second half that can make a push. If I go over to the West, I'm going to say the Suns and the Jazz will probably, the Suns schedule gets a little bit more difficult. So
Right.
we'll see how that goes. But I think like the Suns and the Jazz on the West, you got your usual suspects like the Lakers, but I'm interested in like how the Anthony Davis injury is going to impact their run. Like they'll make it to the playoffs, but I just wonder like, are they going to cruise into the playoffs or struggle a little more? So who might get stale? I think the Knicks are playing decent, but they have a hard schedule second half. So I think that they might stall out a little bit. On the West, who do I think is going to stall on the West? I don't know. I can't think of on the West. I was going to say, because like I said, I feel like the Lakers are 50-50, like depending on how the injury, they'll probably still make the playoffs, but I'm interested to see like how that injury impacts their schedule. So my thoughts.
You talk to us about Blake Griffin. He is next for us to talk about. According to ESPN, six-time All-Star forward Blake Griffin has signed a new deal with the Brooklyn Nets for the rest of the season. The Nets are using one of their veteran minimum contract slots to sign Griffin, sources told ESPN. Griffin informed Nets general manager Sean Marks of his decision to join Brooklyn's championship chase on Sunday evening, a reunion of sorts with his former LA Clippers teammate DeAndre Jordan. The Clippers will become stale, but they ain't even got started yet, so whatever.
That's what I was gonna say.
We're fortunate to be able to add a player of Blake's caliber to our roster at this point of the season, Mark said in a statement. Blake is a versatile front court player with a long track record of success in our league, and we're excited about the impact he'll make for us both on and off the court in Brooklyn. He has agreed to a buyout on the remaining $56.5 million left on his contract with the Detroit Pistons because Brooklyn will be in the luxury tax next season. The most it could offer Griffin as a free agent is the $5.9 million taxpayer mid-level exception, according to reporting by ESPN's Bobby Marks. However, Griffin will earn $29.8 million from Detroit next year and has $225 million in career earnings. He ain't wanting for money. Injuries have dramatically altered Griffin's game. He is not that jumping over the car guy we used to see. Eliminating the high-flying rim attacks that marked his all-star career, he now leans heavily on the three-point shot and his ability to make plays for others. He averaged 12.3 points, 5.2 rebounds, and 3.9 assists in 20 games for Detroit this season. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we talk about the Brooklyn Nets. A lot of people looked at this and was like, oh my God, they got Blake Griffin. I took it as a veteran signing. To be honest, we talk about the Brooklyn Nets, and I'm still trying to figure out how the Brooklyn Nets going to look. And I'm not talking about playing wise. I'm talking about how they're going to look towards the end of the season. Will Kevin Durant, 1 minute he doesn't have an illness, 1 minute he has an illness. Next minute he's playing, next minute he's hurt. Steve Nash, everybody can coach. Hopefully, can he hold them in and have some type of control? Will Kyrie Irving decide, oh, I need a break and take a sabbatical before the playoffs even start? We counting for this man to retire. Oh, you Kyrie just can't handle it. You going to take a break. Oh yeah, good job to our boy, because he doesn't have to spend 7-8 years in Houston being the man, because he's going to have a great playoffs. You know why? Because he's not the man. Because he's going to be able to shoot all he wants to do, and nobody's going to say nothing to him because he doesn't have to take the blame for it. So anyways, Brooklyn Nets get some more star power. How do we feel about Blake Griffin and what this means for the point of his career? Whoever wants to take it.
Go ahead, Carita.
Why don't you go ahead?
Okay. In regards to Blake Griffin, I feel the same way that you do, Mikhail. When I saw it, I don't know why people hyped it. I don't know if people felt like he was going to be Lob City Blake Griffin. Maybe that's what they felt, but he hasn't been that for quite some time. So I just looked at it as like, okay, it's a veteran signing. He'll be good coming off the bench, for them. I'll give him. I know. It sounds weird, Blake Griffin coming off the bench, but I mean, that's really where we are with his career. He was a guy that, had a lot of promise when he coming out of Oklahoma, and it just took a long time for his game to evolve and develop. And like you said, he's now relying on the three ball, but that's not by choice. I think if he still had his athletic prowess in his body, he would still be trying to be the high flyer when we wanted him to be the full complete package. So, you know, I just you added depth. That's cool. You added depth, but it didn't really move the needle for me per se.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page. I don't think it was a game-changing move. Um, he, like you said, he hasn't been the same player that he was that he used to be, that all-star Blake Griffin. And don't get me wrong, injuries played a part of that. But at the end of the day, they added an additional contributor. But I don't think it's going to really change the game that much. I mean, I think that they would be just as effective with the lineup and the stars that they currently have.
Absolutely.
Without Blake Griffin. Now they have him. That's great, but I don't see it. Same thing. I don't really see it taking them over the top.
Exactly. It's crazy. We talk about the All-Star break. I want to answer this question. Now, I know there was a lot going on Sunday. Were you flicking between the All-Star break and the royalty too?
No, I wasn't. So I don't know where I was, but I didn't realize the interview was the same day. So and usually I'm on social media a lot. Like I was on social media a lot during the skills part, but when the game came on, I wasn't tweeting as much as I usually do. Because if I was on social media, I would have saw all the stuff about the royal. And so I still got to catch that interview. Because I heard Megan drop all the tea.
I think it's it's so crazy that Princess Diana's words, how many years later, can still be the same. And that poor woman, to know what she was going through, she would be so proud of Harry. And oh man, wish somebody can be there and they're not here anymore. But anyways, we move forward. This is episode 114 of Rolling with Ramos, the Pete Rose edition. You got a problem with that? Talk to me in the emails. I'll answer you. I'm Mikel. That's Tristan. Carita, our special guest, is beautiful as you are, fellas. I did something else for you 2 weeks in a row. You can't at me. He's joining us this week, and it is great. Make sure you drop those comments down below. Make sure you talk to us, Tristan. I know you're looking at them. I know they got something to say. We move on to the NFL. And in historical perspectives, this is as big as it gets. The NFL is making some history. Yeah. Maya Shaka, according to USA Today, Maya Shaka is walking history as the first Black woman tapped as an NFL game official. Yet she is quick to insist this is not about her. This moment is about the kids. Shaka has spent more than 14 years teaching health and physical education at Renaissance Academy, an alternative education school in Virginia Beach, Virginia, that caters to the needs of at-risk students. She sees her high-profile promotion to the NFL as a lesson plan for her students than a historical milestone. What I want them to get out of it, it's number one, you can see somebody that you engage with every day make it to the highest level. Shaka, who is 38, told USA Today. That should be motivation for you. It's real important that they have representation right there in front of them. I also want them to know that it's okay to step outside the box and work with people who are a little different from you. A lot of times, especially with the kids I'm working with, they're afraid to work with people that don't look like them or don't listen to the same music they listen to. They're afraid to step out their comfort zone. So she may not see this as a big historical milestone, but this is huge. Mm-hmm. Black women in sports, women in general, in the positions that they're holding, and what they're showing Black girls that they can be, and there's no excuse for it. She may not look at this as a historical milestone. Carita and Tristan, is a historical milestone, right?
Absolutely. She's being modest, of course. It's definitely a huge milestone, especially in this year when there has been so much attention brought to women in the NFL from the Bucks and their diverse staff that is made up of several women. Also, the all women no, it wasn't the all women officiating crew. I'm sorry. It was during the playoffs. There were female coaches on both sidelines. And I think that was with Washington and Tampa Bay, actually. So there's been a lot of attention brought to women in the NFL, even in the Super Bowl, the first woman official. So now we have a Black woman joining the officiating crew, something that you don't see. And I do agree with her point that for other young women, like this shows like, hey, I can do this, and we need to see more of that. So what I would say is it's great that she broke that milestone, but like, let's see more of that.
Tristan.
I thought it was such an incredible moment. I was so ecstatic about it because I think we're in a time now where we have to understand that not only women can go toe to toe with guys when it comes to being in the sports realm, but they actually can surpass, because when you look at it, even the history of sports broadcast, let's look into it in the broadcasting spectrum. Some of the greatest interviews that we've ever gotten, it was a woman that was the person for the interview. They were the interviewers. Like it's always like that, because for an athlete, there's just a certain way that a woman can kind of pierce them in a way to get the vulnerability out of the athlete that a man just can't. And it's not saying like men are just completely unable to, but it's just something about being able to have a conversation and connect with a woman that's different from a guy. And I think in the aspect of the officiating, there's just a respect level that you're probably going to have more towards for the lady official than you would have for the male official. There's a way that they would probably go at the male official that they wouldn't go after the lady official, because it's the lady. There's a little bit of more of an attention that you will seek. It's. I think women have been in the past overlooked on the aspect of, well, we got to keep them in this one spectrum. Like, you all can only be like the beautiful women that cracks a joke here and there, but just stand there and be pretty, not actual give your knowledge and know what you're saying and give out the information the same way the guy that would, or go at the same passion like the guy would. I mean, we saw the clip the other day when Candace Parker was challenging Shaq, describing the pick and roll in the modern day NBA as opposed to when he played in his prime. You know, those are things like that to show like, hey, like, no, we know what we're talking about. We know what we're doing here. And we probably can bring more attention to the sports than some of our male counterparts can, which is true. When you see the Carrie Champions, the Jamil Hills, the Joy Taylors of the world, you see these women that are coming in here and they're grabbing the attention from men and women alike to bring them more and more, attention to sports and to what they do. So for that to happen, I was so happy about that. And I hope that's a trend that keeps going to the point where we no longer have to say the first this or the first that. It can now be something of the norm. But I was happy about it. And of course, you know, I'm always one to be so proud for Black women especially. So, you know, y'all break barriers every day. So I'm all for it. I was totally excited about it. And like I said, I'm just looking forward to the day where it's no longer the first, and y'all just come in droves, and it's just gonna be a normal look.
When I saw Sarah in the Super Bowl, it was that moment like, wow, look at her. And then the way the light hit her, and then the glare of the pyrotechnics and all, it was like, look at her.
Yeah.
And I think when I see Maya, it's going to be the same. And it's going to be a continuance of, when I see that first game of her there, it's going to be like, damn, hello. and the fact that us, and Carita, me and you can probably understand this because we've done so much sideline. And it's easy to see the same people that you've done sideline with over and over come to the stadium. You know, you got your up and comers, and you got the ones that we grown up in this business together. So I see you. I got the older African American women that's been in there that I gotta look up to. I got the older white women that I see all the time. But it's mostly older men, older Black men and white men. and you say hi. Even the people on the field that's doing the chords and everything like that, and in the photography, you become a family. But to walk on a field and I can be ready for my stand-up and Maya can walk by me and I can say hi. Damn, that's gonna be a beautiful thing, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
She looks like me. I look like her, and you just going to do your job just like I'm doing my job. And yes, it's a camaraderie. You say hi to everybody, but to see her take that field and run by, like, hey, Maya, how you doing? That's great.
Yeah,
I hope that happens. But but that's great. So kudos to her. Another historical moment brought to you by a Black woman. You know, we just gonna keep.
Right.
As Tristan said, we break barriers every day. Okay.
That's right. That's right.
Insert Beyonce's "Run the World" Siri, please. We move on, and when we move on, we talk about a subject that's very dear to all of our hearts. Now, last week with Kelsey, it was 3 DMV people talking about the Washington Wizards and all having 3 different perspectives on them. This week, it's 3 people from the DMV having to talk about the Washington football team in one particular interview and one particular guy that we're going to play a little game with. How it started versus how it's going. Y'all like the little hashtags on Instagram. Y'all got your little pictures on there and everything, whatever. So we're going to play that with this guy. This was February 24th. Washington football team quarterback Alex Smith took aim at the franchise in an interview. Tristan, you wanted to talk about it. Here you go. Saying that the team didn't want me after he made a miraculous return from a serious leg injury and hesitated to give him a fair shake once Smith made it back to the active roster. When Dwayne Haskins struggled early on and Kyle Allen was injured, however, Smith finally made his return to the field on October 11th against the Los Angeles Rams and held the starting spot until he suffered a calf injury toward the end of the regular season. We know all about the numbers. We know about comeback player of the year, which he rightfully deserved. Yeah. However, we're trying to figure out within this interview what the hell pissed Alex Smith off for him to make such a statement. There could be 2 reasons. One, we all know Ron Rivera. He doesn't shy away from his tongue much. So he says what's on his mind. So when they asked him, one could say, when they asked Ron Rivera about whether or not they could have gotten to the particular place that they got to, this being week 17, and they're about to play the Philadelphia Eagles for not only the NFC title, but for a chance to go to the playoffs. They asked him would they have been able to do it if it wasn't for Alex Smith. Ron Rivera goes, Kyle Allen having a similar game. That's what he alludes to. Him and Kyle Allen have a similar game. And if they would talk about them, the position that they were in, Rivera electing to note that if they would have a healthy Kyle Allen, it might have been the same as well. So that might have pissed them off. Then number 2, the second thing that might have pissed them off, Smith did not start against the Buccaneers. While Smith started and won the pivotal contest in Philly, he was clearly hampered by the calf injury he suffered a few weeks ago earlier. So that's where we've come from here. How's it going? Alex Smith is no longer on the Washington football team. Washington can save nearly $15 million by releasing him. Never a dull moment in DC, is it? Carita, how do we feel about it?
I don't think that it's a surprise that the team let go of Alex Smith. They have to think about a more long-term solution at quarterback. And that was something that I think anyone who probably watched the team, but especially those like me who cover the team, I mean, I think we could see that coming from a mile away. It has nothing to do with Alex Smith's admirable season. For someone who went through such a horrific injury, he definitely, in my opinion, helped get this. It was a bunch of people that helped get the team to where they were last season, because they had 4 quarterbacks last season. But they need stability, and they need someone who's going to carry them forward into the future. And at this point, it just isn't Alex Smith. And let's just be fair, Ron Rivera coming in, he wants his guy at quarterback, whoever that guy may be. one thing I would say about Kyle Allen, I thought he was okay, but Ron Rivera is really a Kyle Allen fan. So I do see his point. It could be similar, but I will say I think Allen's veteran presence made a difference with that team. So I don't think that we can discount the impact that he did make, but I just think it was time for the team to go their separate ways, and it was going to happen anyway. Now, it's very uncharacteristic for Alex Smith to speak publicly, just even with any team that he's been with, to speak publicly about his dissatisfaction. So I don't know if it had anything to do with what Coach Rivera said, or maybe Alex Smith knew his time was up. So before it was actually publicly released. And so he felt like he could say what he needed to say. But I do find that very interesting that he actually went public with his comments. However, I think the team was going to part ways with Alex Smith anyway.
Two questions for you. And interesting, you can just say your piece. You don't even need me to tell you say your piece. And then you can add to this. Because Alex Smith, like you said publicly, he's not one to make these statements. But at the same time, if I'm the Washington football team, even as a fan, when he said what he said, I felt it was a slap in the face because we've watched the horrific, how horrific that injury was of you. I don't know anyone that would say, let me take a chance on this guy after seeing that, because you're incapable of knowing what you can do. And how can you say they didn't want you? And even if that was the case, despite all that, they put you in knowing that they were in an unknown about what you could do. And look what became of you, of the comeback player of the year. So in any case, you saying no one wanted me, but you got someone to believe that you could at least do it again and took a chance on you. So it was kind of like two-edged sword in those comments for me. Do you feel the same way? And two, when it comes to Ron Rivera and whoever the hell he picks to be the guy of the quarterback position, by the way, we need to find one. So you need to compliment that defense. We have a good year. Don't spoil it and don't do nothing stupid. Anyways, when we talk about Ron Rivera, this quarterback conversation, he didn't want Dwayne Haskins. A lot of people felt a certain way about that. But that was also not his guy. He did not draft him. So a lot of people wanted to have something to say about that. And then here we are talking about Alex Smith. What will be the determinant? Why were we coming into those conversations about Ron Rivera in the quarterback position? And what will be the determinant of him saying it's my team? Once he gets that guy and he's successful, that will put an end to the conversation that he's kind of spoiled the quarterback position in DC a little bit?
Okay, so let me start with your first question about Alex Smith. I don't know if it was, I wasn't there in the locker room, so maybe there were some things going on behind the scenes. I do think Alex Smith's playing was circumstantial, right? So you had the Dwayne Haskins benching, then you had Kyle Allen get injured. So at that point, Steven Montez, I believe, is their practice squad quarterback, but he's really, really green. And you have to think Ron Rivera wanted to at least make it to the postseason, just to show that he turned this team around. I mean, he wouldn't say that. Well, no, that's what he said when the division became wide open. That was one of the reasons that he benched Dwayne Haskins, or so he said, so that he can make that postseason run. So Alex Smith ended up really being your final choice that you had to go with until Alex Smith got hurt, and then they had to bring in Taylor Heineke. So I think Alex Smith, it was circumstantial, and it was great because it gave him an opportunity to come back and be comeback player of the year. But I don't know if we really know how they felt about playing Alex Smith, because it kind of just that's kind of how the chips fell, so to speak. Mm-hmm. I personally think if Kyle Allen would have never got hurt, that's who Ron Rivera wanted to go with, and that's probably who he would have went with. So that's what I'll say with that. I think your second question was, if he finds a solution at quarterback, will that stop the conversation about spoiling the quarterback situation in Washington? Okay. I think the quarterback's going to always be a topic of conversation just in general with the Washington football team. But I really think that Ron Rivera wants to find someone that he picks at quarterback, whether that's through free agency or draft. The mystery and the question is, what is he going to do at quarterback? But there's opportunity out there. But, you know, I think there'll always be a conversation about quarterback because that's the easiest person to blame when something goes wrong. If things go right, they'll love it. So I think this is going to always be a topic of conversation, regardless of what happens with that position. But I do think everyone knew that at some point, Alex Smith's time in Washington was going to come to an end.
Okay.
I mean, I couldn't even have said it better. I mean, listen, okay. So when this came out, you know, my Twitter, blows up with all Washington football stuff. Mm-hmm. And I said, what is Alex Smith talking about? So I read it. I read the transcript. I wanted to know what was said, how it was said. And it was surprising because I'm just like, they didn't do anything shady. Mm-hmm. You're just upset because you didn't get treated as if you didn't have this surgery and this leg that you got. Bro, first of all, this is a whole new regime. Mm-hmm. This is a brand new regime. This is not the coaching staff that brought you on. Okay? That's one. This it's not even I don't even think it was the GM that brought you on. Mm-hmm. So
whole new.
It's brand new. And then two, there was no off season. There was no OTA. There was nothing. We're in a pandemic. So a brand new coaching staff, a brand new head coach, and a brand new GM has no idea what your leg can do.
Oh, wait, there was actually no GM because they didn't pick. They just finally filled that position. Yep.
Exactly. So you're in this influx here, this new transition, this overhaul of the organization, and none of them know to the extent of what your leg can do. And yet we were still sitting with a guy that was picked number 15 overall last year. So the fact that they even put you in position to get on the active roster alone should have been the respect that you felt like you deserved. I don't know what more. I'm a big fan of Alex Smith. Mm-hmm. Big fan. I was a big fan of him coming out of Utah. I thought he got a raw deal in San Francisco. He was decent in Kansas City. I get all that. But my thing is, you had such a catastrophic injury to the point that your life was in jeopardy. We had no idea how this was going to look for you coming back. I personally last year was saying that you weren't. I was saying you were going to retire. I was one of the ones that was like, he's going to retire. There's no way he can play on that leg. Even if he wanted to, I was like, there's no way your wife is going to want you to play on that leg. Like, that was my whole thought process. So, yes, for everything that you've done, absolutely, we commend you and we appreciate you. But for you to have such a scathing, and I think that's a fair word to call it, a scathing interview with GQ about your experience this past season with the team, after they really took a chance on you, putting you out there. They could have tried to get another free agent quarterback to come in like we did wasn't last year, the year before, when we were literally doing, when you first got injured and we were doing the QB shuffle with Mark Sanchez and Josh Johnson and all that. They could have done this. They could have done the same thing. They could have done that. As soon as they saw Dwayne Haskins wasn't cutting it, Kyle Allen got hurt and he was gone, they could have done the same thing. They could have just kept shuffling. But they put you in there and they let you do your thing, and you were admirable. I mean, there was no question you were going to be comeback player of the year. No question at all. But to have such a scathing interview with GQ, I was really shocked. And just like Carita said, I knew that they were going to release him. There was no way you were going to keep him on the books. But I believe after seeing that interview come out, that was like the last nail on the coffin, in my opinion.
I'm still just curious, like you said, what sparked that? Like, it just feels like there's something, and we'll never know, but something had to have sparked that, because that's just so uncharacteristic of what we've known of him throughout his career. So it is what it is, though.
It is what it is.
That's all I
It
can
sounded real sour, tasty.
It really
It's like,
did.
how long you been on this team? Do you even deserve to be saying that? But why are you saying that? But never a dull moment in the nation's capital. We finish off with a never dull moment in Texas. Because if you a team in Texas, you've been in, oh, hell is blinking. Abort Texas. Abort it. Because you don't want to be a Dallas Cowboy. You don't want to be a Houston, Texas. Hell, you might not even want, no, I ain't even saying that. John Wall, I feel for you, baby, because you don't even want to be a Houston Rocket. Abort the hell out of Texas, because Texas ain't where it's at. However, it's about damn time he got some damn money. Dak Prescott, that's where we go next. In Dallas, if Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott wins the Super Bowl and plays in 50% of the snaps in the title game, he will earn a $1 million incentive according to the contract he officially signed. Just be ready to never get that, okay? But who am I? I'm nobody. But anyways, the Houston Texans have the same clause in their contract with quarterback Deshaun Watson, and we're still waiting to see what the heck becomes of that.
Yeah.
Prescott, 27, will receive a 6-year, $240 million deal from the Cowboys. That includes $126 million guaranteed and a record $66 million signing bonus. However, the final 2 years of the deal void, making it a 4-year, $160 million deal. Jerry Jones looked down from that press box and saw what he saw last year and knew that Dak Prescott was determined that he had to give him that money. I also have a question, because we all know these contracts go one after the other after the other. Shout out to Jared Goff, because you got your money, and look what you did with these quarterback conversations and these signings. So when Carson Wentz got his money, everybody thought, what does that mean for Dak Prescott? Now Dak Prescott gets all his money. My question, what does that mean for Lamar Jackson? And the Ravens are already saying it doesn't really mean nothing, but what does that mean for Lamar Jackson? Dak Prescott gets paid in Dallas. How we feel about it?
I feel like he deserved his money. I ain't even mad at Dak. He deserved his money, and he did what he had to do last season, and I'm glad that he got paid this particular season. So, I'm not mad at it. Dak, with that, I will say I was surprised with the injury, because when he got injured, I was like, ooh, like, is this going to impact him getting that contract? So the fact that he still got his money, that's why I'm like, I can't be mad, because I was worried, because, we know Jerry Jones. So I didn't know how that was going to go. So good for Dak. That's all I got to say.
What does that mean for Lamar?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm like, if Dak can get paid like that, in my opinion, I'm like, if Dak can get paid like that, Lamar should be able to get paid like that. But I also think Dak has been in the league a little longer than Lamar, so he's probably going to have to pay some more dues before he can get that kind of money. But we'll see. I mean, the Ravens seem to value him quite a bit, so we shall see. It definitely sets the market, though. I mean, it gives him negotiating room. You're not going to negotiate your contract lower. The top 4 quarterbacks, I think it's Patrick Mahomes, Dak, Deshaun Watson, and I forget who the 4th person is.
Russell Wilson.
Who is it?
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson. Right. Like, you're not going to negotiate lower than that. So I think he'll get paid pretty well. It sets the market.
I want to be a quarterback in the NFL, because there's no way you can pay me below that. Tristan.
Exactly.
Dak deserved his money.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think they were going to give him $40 million a year. With the way that team is, but the way they constructed it, they save about $15 million this year, so they could try and do some things to fix that team, fix that offensive line. But he deserved his money. I was happy for him, and I hate the Cowboys, but I was happy for Dak. For sure. It's a strong hate. Yeah. I mean, it's strong, but for Dak, he deserved it. He's done everything the right way. To be drafted in the 4th round, he overachieved in his career. As far as Lamar Jackson is concerned, he's gonna get paid because unlike Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson has an MVP in his resume. He's gonna get paid.
That is true. That is true.
He's gonna get paid. He's gonna get paid. So, you know, I'm Lamar, Kyler Murray, them guys. Oh, they sitting there like, thank you, Dak. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
I mean, don't get me wrong. I respect Dak. Definitely Dak is a good quarterback, but
oh yeah,
when you look at Lamar, once Lamar like hits that stride,
yeah,
he's gonna be among the best. And I mean, he already is getting close. He just can't get over those playoff humps. But like once he does, like I think it's a wrap. So
it's a wrap. It's a wrap. So you know, Lamar sat there and saw Dak get paid and said, "Thank you, Dak." He probably texted him, "Brother, thank you."
Anybody next in line should be texting Dak.
Yeah. Like, thank you for staying your ground. Thank you for keeping your foot down, saying you want that 40 million. Thank you.
Yeah, kudos to Dak. Just what you said, for standing his ground. Yes. Because so many people, you know, when it comes to that, I mean, you got some who do stand their ground, but you got some who don't. Yeah. He stood his ground and it worked out in his favor. Because like I said, I thought that injury was gonna, you know, impact him, but he got his money.
Yeah. It will be interesting to see what begets of Deshaun Watson. And we talk about standing their ground, and hopefully the other side is greener and stays greener. And Russell Wilson wants out of Seattle. What, you can't just give Russell Wilson nothing. Well, how much money will Russell Wilson get somewhere? They're gonna have to purely throw the bag at Russell Wilson for him to leave. So this is going to be
Russell
pretty.
Is staying in Seattle. Russell
you think
Wilson
so? I don't think he's going anywhere.
I can't see him not being in Seattle. Like
I can't see that green uniform not on him. I don't see him going
and it's
nowhere.
So crazy. Like people, I mean, quarterbacks leave teams all the time, but like Russell Wilson leaving Seattle just don't feel right. At least right now.
At least right now, exactly. At least right now, no.
If Pete Carroll and them are listening, they throwing everything they can to show Russell. No. Wait, we gonna do it.
But
they better.
Because when Seattle was mediocre, Russell Wilson was able to make things happen.
Yeah.
And without him, they will be lottery picks.
They would be. Honestly, they would be. But with the Texans, they were really messing this up.
It's okay.
I don't know. Okay. Slowly but surely, right? This quarterback carousel is filling out. It's going to get to a point that it's either two things are going to happen. You're either going to not get what you think you should get for Deshaun Watson because you waited so long and because people know that he is not coming back to you, because people know that he does not want to play for you. They are not going to give up the farm because they don't have to. That's one. So it's either that's going to happen or two, he's going to retire on you. And then you get nothing. One of the two is going to happen. He made it perfectly clear, I'm not playing for your franchise. It makes no sense that up to this morning that there's still reports going around that Houston is still refusing calls saying that they're not trading him. Why not? He already said he's not playing for you. He had a one-on-one conversation with your new head coach and said, I am not playing for you. It is not your fault that I'm not playing for you. I'm not playing for this organization anymore. There's nothing you can do. You already gave him the big contract. So it's not like you can give him another big contract. There's nothing you can do short of giving him part ownership of the team. There's nothing more you can do. Let bygones be bygones. Trade this man to get as much as you can get. Because as it keeps going further and further, if we get into the draft and teams that need a quarterback going to draft these guys and all that stuff, knowing that they can build their teams around a young quarterback with less money, you're going to end up trading this dude and end up getting peanuts. Same way you did with DeAndre Hopkins. Same ordeal. You got peanuts for him. Peanuts is going to be the same situation because you're so stubborn and stuck in your way thinking that he's going to somehow change his mind and stay. He is not doing that. and
Yeah,
he has enough money to retire and be okay. He can retire and be okay because you gave him the money already. So
Yeah.
I don't know
If
what
they trade him for peanuts, I feel like that's on them because they should have learned their lesson the last time and they didn't. So, I mean, that organization is just
the black
a
hole.
mess.
The black hole. Like I said last week, they are the black hole of the NFL
Yeah.
right now.
Not to mention their comments about how they feel athletes should be, but we ain't gonna talk about running the ships and whatnot because that's we ain't gonna let them get the best of us. And the unfortunate, but the best thing about this is our time with you, Carita, is done. Thank you for rolling with us tonight. Thank you all for rolling with us tonight. Did we get anybody? Anybody wanted to talk to us? Anybody had any comments?
There's more people that's watching, and they just watching and listening. So we gotta catch them. Gotta catch them with the messages after.
Y'all are killing me. Y'all know I like to talk. Come on. But anyways, thank you for being on. Have your people call my people. If there's anything either of us can do for you, we're on it. This will not be the last time you were on. Tell everybody again where they can follow you.
Well, thanks again for having me. It was a great conversation today. We covered a lot. You can follow me at Carita C. Parks on all social media platforms. You can also follow at Double Take Sports, which is at DBL Take Sports on all social media platforms.
And we thought this show wasn't going to be a long one. We ain't had much to talk about. Just like you said, Tristan, news after news kept coming out. We step aside next week. We got to take a break. Every month, y'all know we take a break. We need one day to get ourselves together. We can't have y'all every week. He got stuff going on. I got stuff going on. We're taking a break, but we will be right back with another great show for you guys. And I'm going to say it like I say it every week, and I don't care if it does not rhyme. It's still mine. I'm McHale, like Kevin McHale. Tristan, I see you. I won't even call you. I'm lying.
That's a lie.